Hey guys, I'm Patrick Smith, Tanner Tomlinson, Coleman Proctor. We're here today with pro tips from Professional's Choice, and we're just going to talk a little bit about something that might sting a little bit, is the reputation of a team roper, being as all three of us are team ropers, but we're here to make that better. This one guy, Trevor Brazil, that I roped with for a long time, he attributed to a lot of my mindset change when we started roping, because he used to say that all the time. He said, "You're such a team roper," and I just like, yes.
So what does the connotation mean? Like we don't take care of our stuff?
Yeah, I mean the bread tie through the head stall, the baling wire on the buckle, the one bit for 6 different horses, the whole deal. I mean, it's just whatever works.
Absolutely.
And he's like, "You're such a team roper. You got to start." I mean, the bread tie deal wasn't a joke. I had a head stall on my good horse at the rodeos.
I think every team roper out there right now knows that's not a joke, because I think we've all had at least one rope tie.
I mean, it's a rope tie, but it works for it came from bread.
You haven't had bread most of your whole life. Like, look at you.
But anyways, the point is just the mindset. I think it shifts into the older you get, the more that you do this, the more you realize the details matter. And from having the rope tie to not wearing the proper stuff on your horse, the right fit in the saddle pad, the right fit in the saddle, the right fit in the bit, whatever it is, right, is just changing the mentality of that the horses are just a tool that we hop on, we ride them until they break, and then they're done. And I think that's kind of goes into some of our other discussions, which is understanding the importance of the animal, of your equipment, and how much it can cost you. And just like you said, Houston, 1/10 of a second. Not that it was a failure in equipment, but many times it has been, because we don't go in prepared. Or you mentioned earlier a good point about practice sessions. People will boot their horses up and have all the perfect stuff on them when they go to the jackpot and run 5, but they'll run 15 or 20 at the house and have the wrong stuff on them, no boots on them. When it's the most important, we're putting them through more runs and maybe worse ground, sometimes at home or at your buddy's practice pen. But just going through the details day in and day out. I've learned to maintenance my rigs before I leave, check my tires, make sure I got enough air in them, because I just got tired of driving down the road until my tires blow out and then cussing the tires because they blew out. We didn't have any air when I left my house anyway. So that's how we treat our horses, and that's the team roper's reputation. But I think it's getting better. I think the team ropers are understanding the importance of maintenance that goes into all of this.
I think there's a lot too. A lot of people, and myself, I've been guilty of it as anybody. And I think like that's one thing where we come from the heart a little bit is, they're not motorcycles. It's not like go have fun, play with it for the weekend, and then put it up in the garage and we'll see it next weekend. And that's kind of a mentality, especially for, even if you're just a hobby roper. I mean, how much can go into, talk about, I watched one of my dear friends at the timed event the other day, his stirrup breaks in one round, his rein breaks in another. Thankfully he's handy, he won both rounds, but it's like, man, like, can we not, and 20 years ago myself, like, I would have never, it would have broke before I'd ever changed it.
Yeah. I feel like you don't look at it until you start doing this for a living and professionally, I feel like we always, when I was a kid and first, till I got around Patrick, like I'd make one circle on my horse and get in the box, and then
I warmed him up on the weighted box.
Exactly, until one pulls a tendon or something, and then you start thinking about it. And like we said, when you ain't got your good horse, it makes you think.
Absolutely. I opened my tack room when we got here earlier, and I've got ceramic boots just flying out. I got my ceramic blanket, because there's so much now for rehabbing, and not just when one gets injured. Like, that's when a lot of people's minds come to, trying to rehab them. But there's so much you can do that never allow yourself to get to that point. And one thing I love about the 2X Cool Boot is, the material they use. Team ropers, we always get the reputation that we don't take our boots off enough. Like my wife, we go to the barrel race and she makes one run. Her horse is booted for about 15 minutes at the most, and then we go to a roping, and you might be there for 2 hours and jumping back and forth between horses and never really get a chance to take your boot off. So one thing I've loved about the 2X Cool is the way it keeps his leg cooler, throughout the day. Because I'm a guy like the BFI whenever we go to the BFI, round 1, we're going to take the boot off before round 2 because we got an hour break, hour and 15. But we also don't have that option sometimes, a lot of the ropings we go to.
Like if you're at the West Star and it's hot, and you're going back to back, you ain't got time to, and that's where, like you said, the cool boot comes in handy, where it'll keep them good.
And it's amazing how rodeoing long enough, a guy becomes almost a full-blown mechanic, horseshoer, partial vet tech, right? When it take about, when you start diagnosing your own problems to try to keep yourself rolling. Because I'm like you, I never really pay attention to my tires until you're on the interstate changing one at night.
Yeah, that's what everybody does. I mean, youth, I think, like I said, I think I just learned that our brains don't develop at a young age most of the time unless you have somebody pointing it out, like I did with T. Woolman, of what are you doing? Why aren't you don't worry about you getting a drink first. You worry about getting your horse a drink first.
Absolutely.
You take care of him because he can't speak up like you can. So I think just us understanding the maintenance that goes along with it, taking care of our animals, taking care of ourselves and our stuff. I mean, that's just setting yourself up for success rather than failure. So that's our pro tip from Professional's Choice. Thank you, guys.
At Professional's Choice, the more comfortable the horse, the better the performance.